Hey everybody, Illini4life here, and this is episode 12 of the Illini4life Universe. Let's start with questions. The first question is from Big Husker, New York. His question is, who will be better next year, Giants or Bears? Well, I'm going to have to say the Bears, but that's not just bias. I still think the Giants will be a good team, but the Bears were a great team until they were hit by the injury bug. They were 7-3, and then Forte and Cutler got hurt. And then that's when it all fell apart. But they were 7-3. They were doing a lot better than the Giants were. And if it weren't for those guys getting hurt, the Giants wouldn't have made the playoffs, most likely. Because we would have gotten that wild card spot. And because we weren't going to be better than the Packers. But we would have gotten that wild card spot. And you wouldn't have even made the playoffs. And I know you guys are still a good team. And, it just worked out the best for you. But we'll be better next year. The second question is from Mookow002. His question is, what's your biggest fear? Fear itself. Alright, now we will start with Illini B-ball. Okay, so the Illini, they had a bad week. They played two good teams, Indiana and Michigan, on the road. Indiana, they lost by 13. And that was the kind of game where we were down by 10 basically all game. Had a chance to come back, but never did. It just wasn't very good. And then on Sunday, we lost to Michigan by 9 points.
Yes, we are looking to get more on track, but I still believe in this team. I don't care about the rest of the regular season, because I know once the NCAA tournament comes around, we are prepared to win.
Yeah, and I don't really understand. There must be an interior problem because I don't think we've been beat by a team that's better than us all season long. And now we're just on a bad losing streak. So there must be something going on because if they were focused, they would be winning these games. We are more talented than all these teams that are beating us.
Far more talented than any of these teams. But we all know that when the tournament hits, the Illini are dangerous. Dangerous.
Yeah, and speaking of the tournament, I had a scare last night because I was watching Minnesota and Ohio State, and they were just talking about how Minnesota probably isn't going to get in, and it just scared me for a second because they have the same record, about the same record as the Illini, but then I realized they have no marquee wins, and we've beaten teams like Ohio State, Michigan State, Gonzaga. We've got great wins.
We have favorable wins, and that is huge for making it to the tournament. You can have, 3 more losses than another in your conference and make it over them just because of out-of-conference wins and just overall strength of schedule and talent.
Yeah, I unless we have a catastrophic finish to this season and lose to Iowa and who else? Nebraska. If we lose to those teams, then we might have trouble getting in. But I don't think we'll have trouble getting in. I think we maybe lose one game for the rest of the year, and that's just based on the fact that it's hard to have a big winning streak. But it's doable. We could definitely win the rest of our games.
Yes, and if we do not get it in, if we do not make it to the tournament, which we should by far, definitely make it to the tournament, it's because the NCAA is biased against us. Just like a few years ago, was it, when we should have made it, and we made the NIT instead. It's stuff like that that just really makes me mad because they know that we're hot once we reach the tournament. They don't want us to win it all, but we know we can if we do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once we get into the tournament, if you're distracted in the tournament, you don't deserve to be there. They're obviously distracted by something right now. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that Bruce Weber's on the hot seat, which he shouldn't be. But once they're in the tournament, they will not be distracted. They will be focused. And we'll see the team that we saw against Ohio State and Michigan State.
Exactly. And I think even in the Big Ten tournament will show people how good we are. I think we can we have the talent, clearly, to just get hot. And it happens a lot where a team struggles. Look at UConn last year. They kind of struggled through the regular season, tournament time, they played up to their talent. And we are better than that UConn team last year if we play up to our talent. So just watch out.
Yeah, and the team that we saw against Ohio State and Michigan State, they can beat anybody in the country if they play like that. And if you can beat anyone in the country, you can win the tournament.
Right. We cannot miss the tournament. Look at the wins we have. Ohio State, Gonzaga, Michigan State. You think you can leave us out of the tournament with wins like that? I want to see a good selection.
Yeah, unless we have a catastrophic end, we're in. And then we'll see what happens from there. That's all we got to say about the Illini. Pretty fiery topic. And now we'll talk about the bowls. Now it's bowls time. Bowls. Well, in recent games, in that Boston picture that you see, we lost. It was a close game. We lost by 4. C.J. Watson blew the lead. Not the lead. He blew our chance at a comeback. It was not very good. And but before that, we played New Orleans, who we killed 90-67. And then we played Charlotte, who we also killed 95-64. And then Boston, we lost by 4. And then last night we played Sacramento, and we won 121-115. Now, you don't normally see a game like that from the Bulls, where it's super high scoring both ways. Like, they can put together some offensive numbers, but, I mean, especially on defense, that doesn't normally happen. But we won, that's all that matters.
And so today, like you said, it's uncharacteristic of the Bulls. Usually win games, lower scoring, with great defense. But I believe that we lost to a Kings team that wanted to prove themselves, and they decided to try to prove themselves against one of the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, and they put together a crazy fourth quarter. They had like 38 points to make a comeback effort. But this Kings team has talent. They could be a surprise team in future years. But we're undoubtedly better now.
Yeah, if we would have played, to our full potential, we would have blown this team out of the water. We would have scored 150, okay? But we didn't. We played bad defense, which is uncharacteristic of us. With or without Derrick Rose, this is uncharacteristic of us. We are a top franchise, a top team. It's unacceptable. We're lucky to get the win, but it's a good thing we got it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just a regular season game. I know that we can't just, think like that, and we got to take every game like it's very important. But from a fan standpoint, it doesn't worry me, because I know we're better than the Kings. We didn't have Rose. If we don't have Rose in the playoffs, we're in trouble anyway, so it doesn't worry me about the playoffs.
Exactly.
And I just got to thinking last night, I just kind of realized we might as well not even talk about the Bulls on here until the Eastern Conference Finals, because it is basically guaranteed that the Eastern Conference Finals is Bulls Heat. Like, we know it now.
Yeah, I know it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be, we're going to be the one or the 2 seed, you're going to be the other, and we're going to play in the conference finals, and I believe we will win.
No other team is going to beat the Heat or the Bulls. Right? The Sixers have the best chance, but I don't think that they're not experienced enough in the playoffs.
Yeah, they have a record, but that's about it. They're not built to go deep in the playoffs. Neither are the Pacers. The Celtics are old. The Knicks are hot, but that doesn't matter. We are the Bulls, and we're good.
Yeah, the Celtics gave us a run for our money. Not the Celtics, the Pacers gave us a run for our money last year in the playoffs, but I still don't think they can beat us. And the Knicks, definitely not. All this Jeremy Lin hype, it's deserved, but he's not going to make them a dominant team.
No, he is not. Once Melo and Stoudemire are back to their full health, they will start losing again.
Yeah, because they will be the ball hogs that they are. I think Lin and Stoudemire can work, because he and Nash thrived with the pick and roll in Phoenix, but Carmelo, I just don't see those three working.
Because Carmelo has to touch the ball. In order for him to touch the ball, it takes away Lin, and that just ruins their team.
It does indeed. So, Thursday, we play Boston again, and this is at home. And we finally get a nationally televised TV game at home. Yeah, I had just gotten to thinking recently. I just realized if we're ever on national TV, we are always on the road. Always.
Yeah, except for the playoffs. We are never at home. It's really annoying because I like to watch the Bulls at the United Center.
Yeah, and the only time we're ever on national TV at home is when we're on NBA TV, and that almost doesn't even count. I mean, it does, but it's not the same as TNT or ESPN.
I like watching the Bulls knowing that everyone else is watching them as well, not just locals.
Exactly. Considering we're the best team in the NBA, we deserve to have some home TV games, and it's really not a huge deal, but it just angers me.
Yes, the official teams like the Celtics and the Lakers know that way too much on TV. It is just because they're historically good, even though they're not very good now. I'm sick of it. Bulls are a new team to watch. Watch them. They're the best team to watch. They're the most fun team to watch. And our fans are the best in the NBA.
Oh, most definitely. I just don't know whose fans can compare. The only ones that may be close are Celtics and Lakers, but those both have very fair-weather fans.
They're bandwagon fans. They with the Heat. The only team that is close in fans, I would have to say, is the Portland Trail Blazers, because they always pack the stands.
Yeah, and you know who else had a home game Friday night? The Jazz.
Yeah.
But at least we're getting some now. And how about this? Luol Deng made the All-Star team.
Yes, I'm so proud of him.
I am so happy for him. He deserves it. He's had an up-and-down career. He was a first-round pick. He was not living up to the hype. Then one year, he had a crazy playoffs. Then he had a lot of expectations, didn't really live up to them. Then last year, he got back on track again. He has been a great player to watch progress. He's progressed his game a lot, and I am very proud of him.
Yeah, he should be a starter, but there's no way he'd be a starter with the All-Star voting because they're biased towards big names. So there's no way he'd make the starting team, even though he deserves it, like Rose. And I really proud of him. We all know he's amazing. He's the second best player on the team, but first best player on a lot of other teams if he went to them.
Yeah, and him and Rose fit together perfectly, and that's what's most important because he's on the Bulls, and they have great chemistry, and it doesn't really matter what other team he's on because he's here now, and he is a great fit.
Great fit. In fact, he is really, really good.
He is so good. We've actually got a couple big games coming up. After Boston, we have New Jersey, not a big deal. But then we have the Hawks on ESPN. That's also a home game.
Yes.
And
yes,
then,
it is.
And then we'll have Milwaukee, New Orleans, but then we have San Antonio. And then look a couple games down. We'll have Philadelphia and Indiana back-to-back. So we've got some big games coming up.
That is a tough stretch, but I know we'll pull through.
And Monday, March 12th, Lynn Sanity comes to Chicago on ESPN.
Yeah, another home game.
And then right after that, Heat at home on ESPN. Just as I was thinking that, it's like they read my mind.
Yeah, I think they changed it because of you.
Well, you know, what can I say? So
A lot.
there's going to be a lot of great Bulls games to watch. Can't wait. What's your final word?
My final word is that downtown Chicago, best place to watch a game and eat food, like just watch a game, eat food in downtown Chicago, greatest thing.
I would agree. That's very fun to do. City living. My final word is Wilbon. Mike Wilbon. I am watching PTI right now. Well, it's their thing on SportsCenter where they talk about something for like a minute 30. But he's from Chicago. He's a big Chicago fan, and he is pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. He went to Northwestern, but I could forgive him because all of his other teams are Chicago teams. So,
Yeah.
shout out to my boy Mike Wilbon.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it, everybody. We'll see you guys next week, and we might have Chip on the show next week. All right. Bye, everybody.